Thanks for joining us at Right On Replicas, where we're proud to bring you the best scale model kit reviews on the planet. This review is brought to you in part by Rogers Hobby Center in Saginaw, Michigan, where the fun begins.
This review covers the 2020 release of the Ford Mustang GT4. It's a 1/24 scale kit from Tamiya, number 24354. The kit has about 143 parts, molded in white, black, chrome, and clear with soft vinyl tires. Now, it's about an intermediate skill level kit, but some of the parts are small, so you should have a few kits under your belt before you try this one. When you're done with the kit, it'll be about 8 inches long, 3 1/4 inches wide, and 2.5 inches high. Now, the Ford Mustang GT4 was a development for racing, and it came out of the 15 and 16 Shelby versions that were used in the IMSA's races. It was developed by Multimatic for Ford so that it could race under the GT4 class rules. And it had its debut during the 24-hour Daytona weekend in 2017. Now, this kit comes with 2 livery options: the number 17 car used at the Goodwood Festival, and the number 18 official car. Oh, that's Newt. Come on in here, Newt. What's on your mind?
So, why didn't you paint this one like the number 17 Daytona race car?
It seems that almost everyone uses that livery, so it's very well covered. And I thought the white car was just stunning. It really makes the decals and the accents stand out.
It sure looks fast. How much would a car like that cost?
From what I've heard, you can order a Mustang GT4 from Multimatic for a mere $225,000. Here are the contents of the kit, and as you can see, they're crisply molded and separated into color schemes for the various segments of the build. Now the windows are nice and clear and crisp, and we'll be using liquid cement or thin CA glue for this kit in order to preserve the dimensional integrity. And you have to seat the parts fully in order to make sure that everything will fit together when you're done. Now, please pay attention and heed any of the safety and use warnings for any of the products that you hear or see in the review. Here are the decals for the kit and the masks for the windows. And they're among the best in the model building world these days. I'm not sure if this is a cartograph, but Tamiya does excellent work with their decals. We'll be using some setting solution for some of the larger ones to make sure that they conform to the crevices and contours. Construction of the kit from the instructions has you start with the underbody here, but I actually started with the body and chose to finish and let that dry. However, I'm going to kind of follow the instructions along, but you may see some parts that are painted before they're actually put together. So just bear with me and we'll get into this. So you're going to take these pieces and assemble them, and then if you choose to do the body first, you can glue the front bumper in place before you paint. It won't interfere with assembly later. Looking at the underside of the chassis, you can see that the main color is gloss white. It's got some black, gold, and silver details on it, as you can see pointed out here. Grab the front and rear shocks and detail and paint those. The rears are gloss white with some black, gold, silver, and metallic blue detailing. Now paint the sway bar semi-gloss black and attach that to the chassis when dry. And the oil coolers are black with some metallic blue accents, and put those in place. Now add the reservoirs to the shocks and glue those into position to finish this step. Next, get out the parts for the engine, and it's not really a full engine, it's kind of a lower half engine, but get these parts out and get them ready to paint. Glue the engine halves together and then add the bottom of the engine and paint the unit aluminum, and then you can glue it into place and give it a little black wash for realism to point out the detailing. Now you can paint the transmission tunnel semi-gloss black and put that in place. And I want to point out, you have to scrape the paint or any chrome from any of the pieces completely from your glue spots in order to get those parts to position properly, or they may be too thick and will prevent the proper fit. Gather up the rear end suspension parts and the running gear there. And now you can assemble the unit and basically spray everything with semi-gloss black. And I put some blue accents on the frame piece, and I chose to put a little more detail on the CV shafts. Those are the shafts that connect the joints to the wheels, and the boots there with some rubber black and some gold accent. Now glue the sway bar to the frame first, and then add the small centerpiece. Next, glue the rear gear cover to the housing, and glue the housing to the frame section. Now get these parts out. They'll be added to the back end there, and we're going to paint those semi-gloss black with aluminum arms and add the main suspension carrier to the rear frame. Then glue the small mounting bracket to the hub assemblies. Locate the rotors and the calipers and paint the rotors titanium silver and gold calipers, and then after those dry, add decal 45. Now once it's set and dry, glue the hubs into place on the rear frame and add the poly caps and the rotors. And now you can add these suspension links to complete the rear end, and then paint the links semi-gloss black, and we'll glue those into place, and then add the rear assembly to the chassis. So gather up these parts and we'll begin working on the front suspension. Now the shocks are a metallic blue with some aluminum hubs, and the rotors are titanium silver with gold rotors. And once again, decals 45 or 54 go on those. Now paint the frame semi-gloss black, and there's an online correction for the instructions on this step because the original printing doesn't have a color call out for the part. So you can check that if you like. Now put the shocks into place without some glue and sandwich them into the frame piece there and glue it into position. Get the steering rack out and clean up the light seam parting line there, and then we're going to paint that black, of course semi-gloss black, and without any glue you can clip it to each of the rotor assemblies. Now get out the tires and the wheels and paint the wheels a gunmetal, and scuff the tread area with some sandpaper for some realism, and assemble those just by snapping them together. Gather up these parts, including the exhaust, and paint the air jacks white with some aluminum and metallic blue accents, and then glue them in the front wheel wells. Now paint the exhaust titanium gold, and you can add a little brown wash to the welded areas for a little more realism. Now glue it in, and then press the wheels into position. Let's get started on the interior tub now. Now the tub is gloss white with a black rear wall, and then the footrest and pedals are all black along with the battery box and the two detail plates there. The air jacks then are aluminum with metallic blue details, and the small tank is a metallic orange with some blue and chrome accents. The fire extinguisher is gray and black with decal number 55, and you add all these items to the tub now. We'll move on to the roll cage, and so gather all the pieces and paint those gloss white and glue them in place, starting with the main hoop, and then decal 59 is placed in the center of that. So find the seat in the kit box there, and we're going to use the interior tub next. And the seat gets painted semi-gloss black on the back and flat black on the cushion area in front. Now there's a sequence to the decals. Apply number 56 first, and then add the other decals that are listed in the instructions. And now we'll add some more of these interior pieces, and the roll cage is gloss white, and use the mask for the rear view mirror and paint that black. And then the steering wheel and the dash are semi-gloss black. Now decal 57 goes to the back of the mirror. Now we'll work on a very nicely detailed dash and steering here. Decals 62 and 3 go on the steering wheel and 48 on the instrument panel. I added some green, red, yellow, blue, and white buttons, which you can see in some of the online photos, but you can also just use your imagination to bring those out. Now get the dashboard ready. Paint the dashboard semi-gloss black with some chrome bezels around the gauge areas, and then decals 58, 64, and 5 go into position. And setting solution is required because they go over the buttons, so you'll need to contour those with some solution. Now glue the steering wheel assembly to the dash, and I'm going to display mine with the wheels turned, so I turn the steering wheel to match that. So glue the dash into place in the locating notches now. We can detail these interior panels now and get the top of the roll cage ready too. And we're going to paint those door panels semi-gloss black with chrome handles and glue them into place, and follow that with the top of the roll cage into position. Now I'll get the hood vents here and clean up any minor sprue attachments that need to be addressed. And as stated earlier, the body was completed, and so you can see here but all the prep has been done, of course. Light parting lines were sanded off, light primer, and then gloss white paint. And there were just very minimal mold lines on the vehicle's body when I started. You can see those here with a black marker, so just sand them smooth with some light sandpaper. So now all of the marker has been removed by the light sanding, and we're going to glue the mirrors and the door handles into place, and then paint and decal the body per the instructions. And then once that's ready, go ahead and place the vents into position on the hood. Now we'll work on the rear valance and the rear end pieces. And the valance is semi-gloss black, and the lights are transparent red. Now paint the tow hook red and glue the exhaust tips together and add those parts to the rear bumper. Now the recessed areas of the taillights are painted semi-gloss black, and the transparent red is used on the three raised areas of the taillights. So now the whole panel, of course, is semi-gloss black, as is the fuel door with chrome ring, and the side markers are transparent red. And glue the lenses first, and then add the markers. Now the center panel and the fuel door, the lens backers, and finally glue on the valance. Locate and paint the front end gloss white there, and gather these parts up, stage them for assembly. Of course, we're going to then add the two inserts, and there are semi-gloss black, and decal 60 and 61 goes on the larger insert there. Glue the lenses to the bumper cover and then add both inserts. The tow hook is red and add it to the smaller insert now. The front arrow wings are semi-gloss black, and the smaller pieces get decals 25 and 26 if you're building the white car. And the gray car gets decals 4 and 5. Continue on the front end with these pieces, so get those out. The chrome pieces have a clear orange area that needs painting. And then assemble the headlights in this order. First, the lens is inserted into the chrome piece, and then add that to the bucket, which is semi-gloss black. Now from the back and the accent lights to the bucket now, and add those, and then paint the back of the clear area white, as you can see here in the picture. And now we can finish up the front end there by gluing the outer lenses into place and then adding the headlight assemblies. It's all ready to accept the lower air dam too. Next up is some of the window glass, and so gather those along with the wipers you see here, and we're going to use the provided masks on the inside and tape off the other side, and then paint the exposed areas and the wipers semi-gloss black. And now use some clear glue or white glue to put the windows into position from the inside of the vehicle. Get these parts out, the panels and the bracket there, and we're going to paint those semi-gloss black. Now add the third brake light in between the body and the rear glass, and then glue the rockers into position on the body. Now paint the rear skid plate semi-gloss black, and this is a little difficult to put into position, so you're going to need to test fit this because you can't really see the glue points. So once it's dried, glue it into place on the fuel tank. And then we're going to marry the chassis and the body together. So look for mounting points and glue points, and do a little test fit there. Make sure that you get this in the right position when you drop it in with the glue on it. Now look for the mirrors in the skid pan there, and the mirrors are body color and with gloss white and black trim. And the front skid pan is semi-gloss black. So add the chrome inserts to the mirrors and glue those into position now. Now glue the skid pan into place, and take your time here because it is the same mounting issue as the rear, so test fit that before you put the glue on it. Grab this assortment of parts for your final work here, and the door handles are body color, and attach those into position. Now paint the antenna metallic blue with a chrome tip and carefully glue that to the roof. Now all the other pieces are semi-gloss black, and decal 35 goes on the main wing. And if you want the extra detail mask and paint the trim around the door glass black, and then add the remaining parts to the body. Well, here's what you'll have left of the kit. Because it's a single purpose kit, all the parts are used. That is, if you put it together right and they all fit. And of course the decals for the other livery will be all that's left. Well, there you have it. This stunning race car looks great on anybody's shelf, and it was an excellent kit with very few issues. The one thing that you will find out is that the tolerances are so tight. You will have to make sure that everything is test fit so that you know they're going to fully seat. And you might want to even sand a little bit off of the pieces to make sure that they go together properly. Otherwise, they just don't fit together very well. So a little extra sanding to account for paint thicknesses some places, like with vent latches, etc. Just about the only thing that could be done to make this kit any better. So if I were you, I'd buy one and put it on my shelf. We hope you liked this premium scale model kit review, and so that you don't miss any more, please subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the icon in the lower right of any of our reviews. Or you could find us on Facebook or our website, rideonreplicas.com. Thanks.